can. And what's going on here? What did I say? Page 810 through 814. And the exercises are on page 815. In problems 1 through 10, do the following. State the range, and then find to 2 decimal places the standard deviation. Okay, it tells you what the range is on page 811. What's the range? On page 811.
It's a set of numbers. The range is the set of numbers is the difference between the greatest and the least numbers in the set.
So, for problem number 1, what's the range?
$18.
What?
18.
Because you take 21 minus 3, right?
Uh-huh.
And then find the standard deviation. Look at page 811 again. Whoa, look at that formula for standard deviation on page 811. Is that one cool formula?
No.
All right. Look at page 815.
It has a dot in
Yep. Look at page, because you never know how many scores you're going to have. Look at page 15 and at the top of the page, and it shows a sample of how you do this. So let's just do problem number 1. Help you with your first piece of homework.
Great. Solid.
So you've got the range, don't you?
Yep.
Okay, so the first thing is we list the scores. 3, 5, 8, 13, and 21. 3, 5, 8, 13, and 21. That's our first column, okay? Then what's it say next? This is X. What's the next one? X minus the mean. How do I find the mean for this? You know how to find the mean?
The average.
3 plus 5 plus 8 plus 13 plus 21 equals 50. And then what do I do with 50?
Divide it.
Divide by the number of scores. So the mean is 10. And that's what that little line over the X means. 34. 42, 50. Okay. So now this says take the score minus the mean. So that would be 3 minus 10, 5 minus 10, 8 minus 10, 13 minus 10, 21 minus 10. And what do we come up with? -7, -5, -2, 3, and 11. Is that right? Did I do my math right? So that's the score minus the mean. Okay? Everybody follow what we're doing?
Yeah.
Then what do I do next? Then I take this number, the score minus the mean, and do what? Square it. What's -7 squared?
49.
What's -5 squared?
25.
Negative 2 squared?
4.
3 squared?
9.
11 squared?
No.
Okay?
Okay.
Now what do?
You add them.
I add those together. And what do I get? 134, 159, 160, 208. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Did I add them up right?
It seemed really
Did I?
good.
Okay. So now what do I do?
You divide it all by.
I
what's
divide this
in?
by. Now you would think 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what you
It
use.
says in -1, but what's the in? Oh, the set of numbers.
The number of scores. But back on that page where the formula is, you divide by the number of scores minus 1. So
So before.
you divide by 4. And that gives you 52. And then what do you do with 52?
You
Back on that formula, page 811,
you do this. You square root it.
you square root it. That's right. So what's the square root of 52? Square root 7.2111. 7.2111 approximately. And they want me to find the standard deviation to 2 decimal places. So that would be 7.21 is the standard deviation. Now, do they even tell you what that means?
Yeah. What does standard deviation like? How is that used?
What that means is if we take these scores. Okay, are you ready for me to erase this? Or do you want to take a snapshot of it?
I got it.
I wrote it all down.
You got it down? Okay, so I'm going to erase all of this and put those scores up here again.
Oh.
And what were the scores? 3,
5, 8, 13, and 21.
and the mean was what?
5. Yeah.
No,
So-
the mean was 10.
The mean was 10. So I draw a line and put
Yeah.
10 right here in the middle.
Mhm.
Okay.
Have you seen that normal curve thing anywhere in life?
Yeah.
Okay. So that normal curve, well, I'm having trouble getting one up here today. There, we'll use that one. So the mean is 10. And the standard deviation was what?
7.21.
So one standard deviation above here would be 17.
Mm-hmm.
If we just round it off to 7. And a second standard deviation would take you up to 7 more, 24. And the third standard deviation would be 24 and 7 would be what? 31. And going the other way, 10 minus 7 would be 3. And then minus 7 would be -4 and -11. You follow that?
Sure.
So that's telling you how this would look on one of these normal curves. Now let's look to see what our scores are. we have a score of 3. We have a score of 5. We have a score of 8. We have a score of 13. And we have a score of 21. Can you see where when we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scores? If we had 1,000 scores, it would look more like that normal curve.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how this stuff fits in with the rest of what you're learning and you're about standard deviation. Okay, let's do problem number 8. Find what's the range for problem 8. Now, you see what's the problem with problem 8? They're not in order. So the first thing I have to do is put them in order. So let's put them in order. 0, isn't that the lowest one? You're not going to tell me, are you?
Yes.
0, then what?
8.
Then what?
2,
And then
2.
another 2, and then what?
4,
And then
6, 8, 8, 10.
is that all the scores?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the first thing you have to do is make sure you put them in order. So now I can find the range, right? The range would be 10 minus 0. So the range is 10. Now I need to find the mean. What would that be? What's 10 plus 8 plus 8 plus 6 plus 4 plus 2 plus 2 plus 0 equals 40 divided by what? 8. So the mean is 5. So now I go x minus the mean, and that would be 0 minus 5, 2 minus 5, 2 minus 5, 4 minus 5, 6 minus 5, 8 minus 5, 8 minus 5, and 10 minus 5. And what would that be? Negative 5, negative 3, negative 3, negative 1, 1, 3, 3, and 5. And then what do I do with those?
You
Look at the picture at the top of the
do
page.
the square thing.
So that would be what?
5 squared, or negative 5 squared, negative 3 squared, negative 3 squared. Negative
What's negative 5 times negative 5?
25.
25? What's this one?
9.
What do I do with those numbers?
You add them up. So glad we could choose calculator.
88, is that right?
Yep.
25, 50, 60, 70, and 18, 88, and divide by what? N minus 1. And we had how many scores? 8 scores.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be divide by 7.
Yep.
And what's 88 divided by 7? 12.571428. And what do I do with that number? Square root it. And the square root of 12.571428 is about 3.5456. And they want it to 2 decimal places, so that would be 3.55 would be the standard deviation. Everybody follow that?
Mm-hmm.
So that's all you do on this page.
Okay.
Problem number 12. Suppose that the 4 students who scored lowest on the test, do they already have the numbers in order? For problem 11, it says use the information from problem 11 and drop the 4 lowest scores. That would be drop the 0, 0, the 1, and the 2. So what do you have left? 4, 4, 5, 6, 6. My goodness. So what do we have left for the scores? 4, 4, 5. Read them to me. 6, 6. Then what?
There's 3 6s.
Yeah.
Wait, which one are you on?
I'm doing problem 12, but it says use the information from problem 11 and drop the 4 lowest scores. So I'm dropping 0, 0, 1, and 2.
Yeah.
4, 4, 5, 6, 6, 6. Then what?
7, 8, 8, 8, 8, 9, 9, 9, 10, 10.
And then I find the mean. Wait a minute. This is getting way too complicated. I mean, do you see how much time this is going to take to do all these?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
No. Is there a formula for this?
watch
Oh,
this.
a calculator.
Watch this.
No, over here.
Wait for that. Oh.
EasyCalculation.com.
Common in clutch.
Yeah. Common in clutch. I just learned what that meant.
Oh, really?
You should see. I wish I could take a snapshot of the pictures, the looks on your faces. You guys are so happy at 8:20 in the morning.
I don't think I've ever been this happy at 8:20.
I mean, to think, when I was in school, this wasn't available. When your parents were in school, this wasn't available.
Your poor souls.
And where did I find this?
Easy calculation.
EasyCalculation.com. And what does it say? Standard deviation. So let's click on standard deviation. Enter all the numbers
Hallelujah.
Separated by-
Look at this, guys.
separated by a comma. Okay, so read the numbers to me that are up there. Or from problem 11 without the last 4. I mean without the first 4.
You did problem 2?
Mm-hmm. Because I thought it was probably.
Oh, let's just do problem number 11, okay?
Oh, okay.
Let's just do one of yours.
Thank you.
You guys pay more attention when I do one of your problems.
You're right.
Very true.
So,
Why?
tell me what to put on this thing. 0 separated by what? Commas? 0, then what? For problem 11.
After the zeros, you have
1,
2,
2,
4,
4, 4,
5,
5,
6, 6,
6, 6, 6. See how I'm putting commas in there?
7,
7,
8,
8, 8,
There's 4 eights total.
4 eights,
Mm-hmm.
8, 8,
3 nines,
9, 9, 9,
10, 10.
and 10, and 10. All right. Click calculate.
Oh my goodness.
20 scores. The mean is 6. The standard deviation is 3.22817.
Wow.
The variance is 10.4, and the population standard deviation is 3.14. So they're giving you more information than you need.
I love computers and technology.
Weren't you guys born at the right time in history?
Amen.
Does that match the answer in the back? Oh, wait a minute. What are you supposed to answer? Question A is what's the mode? You know what MODE means?
The one that's in the middle.
That's the median. That's B. The one in the middle is the median.
Oh.
Mode is the one there's mo of.
That's a really good way to remember.
So which score is there mo of? There's mo 8s than there is anything else, right?
Yeah.
So the mode is 8. The median, how many scores were there? 20? So I have to go up 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and the median is right between 6 and 7. You follow that?
Mm-hmm.
So what would be the median? What's right in the middle between 6 and 7? Add 6 and 7 together and divide by 2.
6.5.
And what do you get?
6.5.
6.5. What's the mean? What did it say the mean was on our calculation? Up on the screen?
6.
The mean is 6. So which means if we added all those scores together and divided by 20, we would get 6. And then D, D, calculate the standard deviation to the nearest hundredth. Standard deviation to the nearest hundredth would be what? 3.23, because this is an 8. Now, they just asked something here. What percent of the stores lie within one standard deviation of the mean? So I'm going to come over here. Okay, can I turn this off for a minute? I'm going to come over here and make that little curve. Here's the mean.
I mean the mean.
And what was the mean?
Average. But it's.
What's the mean? 6.
Yep.
And what's the standard deviation?
I don't remember what it was.
3.23. So that would be, I'll just go 9, 12, and 15. You follow me? And going the other way, 3, and 0, and -3. You see what I'm doing? I take the mean and go the standard deviation up, 3 of them up, 3. Now, they ask, what's one standard deviation? How many scores are within one standard deviation of the mean? Actually, if we took 6 minus, what was that, 3.2? 7, 2.77, 2.77 would be the exact number there. And 6 plus 2.77 would be 8.77. No, sorry about that. 6 plus 3.23 would be 9.23. You follow me? This would be the exact numbers. I'm just estimating here. Now, what do we have here? 20 scores? Is that right? We have 20 scores? Well, if we put those, 0, 0, 1, and 2 up here, is that what it was since we're doing problem 11? Yeah, 0, 0, 1, and 2. So we have 20 scores. So how many of them are between 2.7? That would be 4 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 6 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 8 and 8 and 8 and 9 and 9 and 9, and then the 2 10s would be out here, wouldn't they? And 4 and 4, the 2 and the 2 and the 1 and the 2 zeros would be out here on this side. See, here's one standard deviation. So how many of the scores are within this range? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 of them? 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
9.23, he was just exact.
See, between 3 and 9.23, between 9.23 and 2.77, there's 14 of the scores. 2 scores are up here, and 1, 2, 3, 4 scores are down here, and that makes a total of 20 scores. You follow what I did?
Mm-hmm.
Make this little curve. So when it says what percent of the scores are within one standard deviation of the mean, that would be 14 over 20 would equal what percent? Well, times 5 would be 100. Times 5 would be 70. So that would be 70%, wouldn't it? So 70% of the scores are within one standard deviation of the mean. That's pretty close to that normal curve where, 33 and 33, 66 or 67% of them are within one standard deviation of the mean. What percent lie within 2 standard deviations of the mean? From here to here. That would be 100%, wouldn't it? All of them are within 2 standard deviations of the mean. So even though they don't put that picture in here, but you've seen this picture in some of your education classes, haven't you? Okay. So now for problems 1 through 10, when it says state the range You just make sure they're in order. And then find to 2 decimal places the standard deviation. You go to easycalculation.com, type in all the numbers. The only way you can make a mistake is just type the numbers in wrong, put commas in between, and Zippo, it gives you the information you need to give them. Oh, it doesn't tell you the range, does it? No, it doesn't give you the range here. So you'll have to figure that out on your own. Okay. So number 13 is just like number 11. Number 16, the carry-on luggage for a random sample of 10 passengers weighed 30, 30, 32, 35, 37, 40, 40, 40, 42, 44. Do they have them in order? See, always ask that question. Did they list the numbers in order, or do I need to put them in order? Are those numbers listed in order? Yes. What's the range? 44 minus 30. 14. What's the mean? And the standard deviation? Oh, it's time to turn on my little easycalculation.com again, isn't it? So let's just turn it on. And let's go over here for number 16. And what are the numbers I'm typing in? Reset. What am I typing in? 30, comma, 30, comma, then what? For number 16. 32,
35,
comma, 35, comma,
37.
37, comma,
There's 3 40s.
40, comma, 40, comma, 40, comma,
42
42,
and 44.
44. Got them all? So what do we do now? I just love doing this. Click on calculate. So the range is 14. The mean is 37. And the standard deviation is 5.03322. It doesn't say to what decimal place. I would probably call the standard deviation just 5. Well, is that all we're doing in here for the rest of these problems? Find the range, the mean, and the standard deviation for Babe Ruth's home runs. Let's work on problems 19 through 26. Number 20. Calculate the average price between the low and the high price for each of the 5 hotels. So page 814. What's the low price for the Coral Reef Hotel? Supposed to do this for each of the hotels. So for the Coral Reef Hotel, the low price is 70, the high price is 150. So if I wanted to find, what do they want me to find? the mean price, the average between the low and the high for each hotel. So that would be 70 plus 150 divided by 2, 110. For the Waikiki, what's the low price? 105, 105 plus 495 divided by 2, 300. The Radisson, 215 plus what? 215. Well, that would just be 215. The Waikiki, 59 plus 148 divide by 2 equals 500. No, I don't think so. 59 plus 148 divide by 2 equals $103.50. The Pagoda, 68 plus 145 divided by 2 equals $106.50. All right? So what do they want me to do for number 22? Oh, so now that I've given you those answers, did you write those answers down? Because look what you have to do for 21. You have to take those answers, those averages, and calculate the average of all of those. Did you happen to write those down while we were working them? Well, that would have helped you with your homework. Would you like to have them again?
Mm-hmm.
Well, since you weren't paying attention. Oh no. For the coral reef, it's 110. For the Waikiki, it's 300. For the Radisson, it's 215. For the Waikiki Parkside, it's $103.50. And for the Pagoda, it's $106.50. And then for your homework, you would just add those together and divide by what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Divide by 5. 22. Calculate the standard deviation of the prices in problem 20. Well, we need them again, don't we? So I just go back up here, turn on my little screen, hit reset, and go up here, and what's the first number I put in here? What are they asking me to do again? You gotta read these directions carefully. Calculate the standard deviation of the prices in problem 20. So the first one was what, 110? And then comma, and then what? 300, comma, and then what? 215. Oh, I got it. 215, comma, and 103.50, 103.50, comma, and is that right? 106.50. 106.50. And calculate. And the mean is 167, and the standard deviation is 87.94. So, if my mean is 67, is that what they said? No, 167. If my mean is 167 and my standard deviation is what? 87.9, let's just call it 88. Then one standard deviation above is going to be plus 88. That's 255. And one standard deviation below is going to be minus 88. $79. So how many scores are between those two? How many prices for hotels? What were my numbers? 110, 300. So 110 is in here. But 300 is out here. What's the other one? 215 is in there, isn't it? Yep. And so 110, 215, 110, 215. What's the rest of them? 103 and 106. 215 should be up here though. 215, 103, and 106. So 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the 5. 4 out of the 5 would be what? 80%? Are within one standard deviation of the mean. And what prices lie within 2 standard deviations of the mean? If I add 88 to this, I'm out here to, what's this plus 88? That's 8, 13, 14, 343, all of them. Because I'm far enough now to include the 300 price. Well, stop when you get to 25. I guess that's it for today. We could try to cover another topic, but we only have 4 minutes, so we probably ought to just call it quits and say that's it. Do you have any questions?
Have I finished grading my test?
What?
Ooh, and I did my test. Did you get it?
I haven't.
You haven't got my. Oh, I finished it.
Your test for what?
My test for 12. No, 11 and.
They'll put it in my mailbox, and I'll take care
Yeah,
of
I
it.
did it on.
What was your question, Celeste?
Can I see my test? Did I finish grading it?
I think you still wanted to work on it some more.
Oh, okay. Can I work on it some more?
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
So that's it, huh? You ready for me to turn this stuff off?
Yeah.
Because you've got easycalculation.com on your own favorites now.
Mm-hmm.
Have you marked it favorites?
We'll soon.